Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Alert, your go-to source for the latest insights. Over the past few years, there's been a growing buzz in financial circles about a potential global currency reset. It's a topic that has analysts, economists, and currency watchers all debating. Is the world on the verge of a major financial overhaul? With global debt soaring to historic levels, geopolitical tensions simmering, and the very foundations of international trade shifting, it's no wonder people are asking questions. Will we see major currency re-evaluations, devaluations, or maybe even a complete rewrite of the financial rulebook? And whenever this conversation comes up, one currency always seems to enter the discussion: the Iraqi dinar. For years, investors have been speculating, could Iraq's economic recovery, its vast oil wealth, and its growing network of international partners finally lead to a much higher valued dinar? But is a currency reset actually on the horizon? And if it is, what role would the Iraqi dinar realistically play? Today, we're diving deep into the global market shifts, the concept of a currency reset, and what it all could mean for the dinar. So, what exactly is a currency reset? Put simply, it's a major financial restructuring, either globally or regionally. Countries might adjust the value of their currencies, change their entire monetary systems, or abandon old financial agreements. We've seen this happen before throughout history. Think back to the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944. This established the US dollar as the world's primary reserve currency, pegging other currencies to it. Then, in 1971, the Nixon shock happened. The US unilaterally ended the direct convertibility of the dollar to gold, which effectively dismantled the Bretton Woods system and forced currencies to float freely against one another. More recently, the Asian financial crisis in 1997 led to a reset for several Asian economies. As their currencies collapsed and had to be stabilized under new economic policies, a currency reset doesn't mean every country simultaneously revalues its currency overnight. It's more of a coordinated, or sometimes natural, shift in how the entire global financial system functions. And today, several powerful forces are pointing towards the possibility, or perhaps even the necessity, of another such shift. So, what global forces are pushing us towards a potential reset? First and foremost, rising global debt. Global debt has ballooned to unprecedented highs. We're talking about government, corporate, and household debt growing much faster than the global economy itself. When debt becomes unsustainable, countries often look to their currency policies as a way to hit the reset button on their financial systems. Second, we're witnessing major shifts in global power. The era of single-power economic dominance is fading. Emerging markets, especially in regions like the Middle East, are gaining significant influence. As global power becomes more distributed, the influence of different currencies naturally begins to shift as well. Third is the trend of de-dollarization. Many countries are actively, though slowly, working to reduce their reliance on the US dollar for trade and reserves. This gradual move away from a single dominant currency is pushing the world toward a new financial architecture, one where multiple regional currencies could share the spotlight. Fourth, you have to look at the energy markets. The dynamics of oil, gas, and renewable energy have a massive impact on the strength of global currencies. Countries with significant energy resources, like Iraq, hold the potential to bolster their currency's stability over the long term, especially as energy demands evolve. And finally, the rise of digital currencies. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, and other blockchain-based financial systems are not just theoretical anymore. They are actively being developed and could fundamentally rewrite the rules of money and global finance, triggering a new monetary era. All these factors combined create a perfect storm, an environment where a currency reset isn't just a possibility, but a topic of serious consideration. Now, let's bring it back to the Iraqi dinar. Where does it fit into this massive global puzzle? For years, the dinar has been a subject of intense speculation, caught between Iraq's incredible potential and its very real challenges. The big question is, could these global financial shifts create the right conditions for the dinar to finally appreciate in value? Or does Iraq have more internal homework to do first? Let's start by looking at Iraq's strengths. The factors that support a potential future revaluation. The most obvious is its massive oil reserves. Iraq is one of the top oil-producing nations in the world. Oil revenue is the lifeblood of its economy, and it's the single biggest factor that could underpin a stronger currency down the road. Next, Iraq is expanding its foreign partnerships. It's actively building and strengthening relationships with international companies and governments, including major players like China, the United States, Turkey, and its neighbors in the Gulf. These partnerships bring investment, expertise, and international validation. Iraq has also been making strides with economic reforms. The country is implementing new banking regulations, pushing anti-corruption measures, and introducing financial reforms designed to boost investor confidence and modernize its economy. And while challenges certainly remain, there's a trend towards rising government stability compared to the turmoil of the past. A more stable political environment is a prerequisite for long-term economic growth and currency strength. But we have to be realistic and look at the other side of the coin. What are the challenges the Iraqi dinar still faces? Inflation remains a persistent issue, and a large portion of the economy is still cash-based. Iraq is in the middle of a long transition toward a modern digital banking system. Corruption is another major hurdle. It's no secret that corruption slows down economic growth, deters foreign investment, and delays the implementation of crucial reforms. Tackling this is essential for building a healthy economy. Then there's the heavy dependence on oil. While oil is a great strength, having an economy so tied to a single commodity makes the currency vulnerable to the volatile swings of global oil prices. Diversification is key for long-term stability. Finally, Iraq works closely with international bodies, like the International Monetary Fund. These organizations monitor the country's financial health and currency stability. They typically advise against sudden, artificial re-evaluations and instead advocate for gradual, sustainable economic adjustments. So, with all that in mind, could a global reset actually lead to a dinar revaluation? There are two main schools of thought here. First, the optimistic view. Supporters of this idea believe that a global reset could be exactly what Iraq needs. It could help stabilize its currency in a new financial landscape, attract a flood of new foreign investment, and give Iraq a stronger, more respected position on the international stage. In this scenario, a reset could finally allow the dinar to be revalued to reflect the country's true economic potential, backed by its immense natural resources. The thinking is that if the world moves to a system that values resource-backed economies, Iraq would be a prime beneficiary. Then, there's the more cautious view. Many economists and financial experts warn that a global reset, on its own, would not automatically trigger a massive spike in the dinar's value. A true sustainable revaluation isn't just about external events. It requires a strong foundation at home. This means having a robust and diversified domestic economy, significantly low levels of corruption, a fully modernized financial and banking system, a stable political climate, and full compliance with international financial standards. Without these critical internal factors in place, even a major global financial shift might not dramatically change the dinar's value, at least not in the short term. This leads us to the most important question: what really needs to happen before the dinar can truly rise? Regardless of what happens on the global stage, experts generally agree that Iraq must continue its internal work on several key fronts. First, banking system modernization is non-negotiable. This means fully embracing digital payments, implementing robust anti-money laundering systems, and aligning with international banking standards to integrate seamlessly with the global financial system. Second is diversifying the economy. Iraq must aggressively work to reduce its dependence on oil revenue, bits. This involves developing other sectors like agriculture, which has huge potential, as well as tourism and manufacturing. A diversified economy is a resilient economy. Third, and this is a big one, is reducing corruption. Promoting transparency and accountability at all levels of government and business is absolutely essential for building trust, both domestically and internationally. Without that trust, currency stability is just a dream. And fourth, strengthening the central bank's policy. A clear, Independent and predictable monetary policy is what builds long-term confidence in a currency. It reassures citizens and investors that the dinar is being managed responsibly, which encourages savings and investment. So, to wrap things up, is a global currency reset coming? And what does it all mean for the dinar? A full-blown global currency reset is not a guarantee, but it's clear that the world is navigating a period of profound financial change. The pressures from global debt, shifting energy markets, the rise of digital currencies, and a new multipolar balance of power all point towards some form of financial restructuring in the years to come. For the Iraqi dinar, a global reset could certainly create favorable conditions for appreciation, but the key takeaway is that Iraq must be prepared internally to seize that opportunity. A strong, stable, diversified, and transparent economic environment is the ultimate key to any meaningful and lasting revaluation. While many investors hold out hope for a dramatic overnight RV, the more realistic path to a stronger dinar involves steady and determined reforms, the building of stronger institutions, and a commitment to long-term sustainable growth. In short, a currency reset may or may not happen soon, but it is Iraq's own journey of reform that will ultimately decide the dinar's true value in the future. Thanks for watching. If you found this information valuable, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to Iraqi Dinar Alert and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next video.